What does evil create? What do bad people create? Poverty, pain, and suffering. Poverty, pain, and suffering. What does longevity alleviate? Poverty, pain, and suffering. It's that simple. You know, I'm a big science fiction geek. I'm a big science fiction fan. Love Star Wars, love Star Trek, anything that has anything having to do with space. I'm in. All in. One of the things I loved the most about the Star Wars story was the fight between good and evil, right? I love that about that show. And I think that archetype of the fight between good and evil spoke to lots and lots of people, and I think that's one of the reasons why it was such a popular show. You know, it also broke a lot of, cinema barriers, and they brought new technology to the screen. But really, it was the story that was the heart of the thing, and which drove that whole thing forward. The fight between good and evil, it's happening all of the time. And if you don't think it's happening, well, you've got your head in the sand, quite frankly. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I am going to tell you that we do live in a dualistic world, that there are forces of good and that there are forces of evil. And what does evil do? It promotes poverty, pain, and suffering. What does longevity do? Longevity alleviates poverty, pain, and suffering, which is why I am so extremely proud to be a member of longevity. My lightsaber, the Healthy Start Pack. My X-Wing fighter, this radio program. The Starship Troopers on my side, Team Glidden. We're all in this together. And, you listen to the show long enough, you're going to hear testimonials that'll bring you to tears. And why do they bring you to tears? Why do they move you so much? Because it's a reflection of the truth, and the truth is good, and it stirs something inside of you which resonates with that which is good. And that's what we bring to the table, ladies and gentlemen. For the forces of light all around the world, longevity is a fantastic vehicle to help you fulfill your destiny, to eliminate poverty, pain, and suffering. That's what gets me out of the bed every morning. Let's see what gets Mike from New Jersey out of bed every morning. Hey, Mike, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden, good to talk to you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for calling. I appreciate your support. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. Getting out of 2013 and looking forward to 2014 with Team Glidden.
Well, there you go, brother. We're going to break all kinds of records next year.
Well, listen, thank you. And thank you for, your attention. I'll tell you, signing up as an insider to get those webinars and get that learning, that was very powerful stuff. So thanks a lot. And hearing that you're not only going to be seen, but also heard, but seen in 2014, that's very cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, actually. I'm pretty excited about the whole thing. We got to have fun, right? We got to try to have fun with this and make it more enjoyable and kind of crank up the entertainment factor for people here because, otherwise it's a boring kind of dull, humdrum thing otherwise. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2014 very, very much. Big things are afoot with longevity. Big things are afoot with longevity. I know that you're an active longevity business builder, and my advice to you, Mike, as well as to every other longevity business builder, whether you're on Team Glidden or not, solidify your knowledge of how to build your business. Streamline the process as much as is humanly possible on your end, because we're going to generate thousands of new leads, tens of thousands of new leads in 2014. And you're going to need to have a structure in place to be able to handle the load. It's coming. I can feel it. I can hear it. So get it together. Streamline your longevity business, and let's change the world together. Mike, you're one of my biggest supporters of. You're always there on the live chats, and I appreciate everything that you do for everybody in New Jersey. How can I help you today?
All right, I just wanted to just clarify. with these gals and the questions that I asked at the beginning that you answered at the beginning of the show, for my niece, she's on that orthotricycline, and my sister-in-law is on that Prevafem. How do they get off that? Once taking into consideration that they get on the recommendation that you gave, how do those gals work off of that stuff?
Well, they need to get in touch with a pharmacist, not an MD. They need to get in touch with a pharmacist and tell them, how long they've been taking it and that they'd like to come off of it, and have the pharmacist recommend a reduction program, and then they start the reduction program. Some prescription meds, depending on your body weight and your age, you can stop just cold turkey. Other prescription meds you need to wean off of over the course of 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days, whatever, right? But the pharmacist will know what the reduction schedule is. But the most important thing here is that once they get the reduction schedule, and once they get that in their head, once they get on the back of that horse and start the reduction schedule, they need to maintain the discipline. And what often happens with people is they'll start to withdraw from the drugs, and they'll have withdrawal reactions, or their body just feels funky for a couple of days, and they'll abandon the program and they'll go back on the drug. And that's never a good idea.
Right.
Once they commit to coming off of the drug, they have to maintain the discipline until they're at the very bitter end of the drug. And it might be a bumpy ride because, drugs exert weird actions on the human body, and when you all of a sudden withdraw the drug from the human body, a number of funky things can happen for a day or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing is to have professional guidance as to how long it's going to take to come off of the drug, and how do I do it? Do I cut the pill in half? Do I take a dose every other day, or what do I do? And the pharmacist will line that all up for you. But once you've got it figured out intellectually, you just have to kind of man up, or, pony up, cowboy up, cowgirl up, and stay on the program until you're all the way at the end, no matter what happens.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, because, especially for that 16-year-old who's on that birth control already, that just kind of blew my mind when her mom told me that. And I was like,
well,
okay, but I
know.
Notes, I'm just sitting there just taking notes and trying to be kind of like even-tempered about it all.
Yeah, well, then this is the thing. I mean, once you've understood the truth, you're in its velvet grasp forever. And this is a direct indication of the way that the MDs think, right? Because the MD doesn't think that the human body has the ability to fix itself. The MD thinks that the human body is inferior. The MD thinks that the human body is just a bag of biochemicals. And the MD incorrectly thinks that when somebody's up against a strong and persistent symptom, their only option is to manage those symptoms with synthetic man-made drugs, the intention of which is to orchestrate a violent takeover of the biochemistry. The MD doesn't believe that she can recover from this on her own. The MD doesn't see this as a symptom of an imbalance. The MD sees this as, well, that's life. And your only hope is to give your life over to the MD's intellect and let the pharmaceutical drugs take over. Now, remember, it's not the drug, it's how it's used. I can prescribe drugs. Drugs are great, man, when they're used appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
But to give a birth control med to a 16-year-old because she's got polycystic ovarian syndrome is stupid. But from MD point of view, it's the only thing to do. So again,
one more. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was going to speak to the 2 selenium that you said in this thing, because the Brain and Heart Pack has a selenium in it. When you said 2 selenium per month, were you including the one that was already in there, or were you adding 2 selenium per month?
Excellent point, and I often forget that and leave it out. So the recommendation is 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds per month, right?
Right.
So figure it out and give her 1 or 2 extra bottles of selenium depending on her body weight. But that's how we dose it. So and I never remember that that's in that pack, but now I will. Now that you've brought it up to me again, I appreciate that.
Super, awesome, great talking to you.
All right,
have
Mike.
a great
you
new
too.
year.
I look forward to it. You too, man. I'm very excited about what we're going to do as a group moving forward into 2014. We are going to make a big splash. Keep up the good work, Mike. People need you more than you know. From New Jersey to Oregon, let's talk to Mary. Hey, Mary, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, I'm not calling for help. I am calling because when you and I had a really stellar consultation, we talked about how some people, and I'm one of them, take a lot longer to achieve all the results we should be achieving. And I think that there are a lot of us out there who are like me, and so I'm calling to give them support. There is, in my case, the reason I'm pretty sure the stickler is, well, let me say this first. There's no way anybody could ever get me not to believe that this is the right way of life. I mean, from the minute I had my aha moment, the minute I first heard this truth, I've never looked back, and I firmly believe in it. So it's just the way that it is. This culture has messed some of us up so badly.
So how long have you been plugging away at it, Mary?
I had to find on my own, let's see.
Well, how long have you been doing the longevity stuff? And we're coming up against a hard break here. We've only got 40 seconds left. How long have you been with us with longevity?
Well, I've been with them for 13 years, but I didn't have access to the information like these radio talk shows and
right.
For 10.
Yeah. So, and are you experiencing relief? Are you starting to crest the hill with this stuff? How's it going?
Oh, I'm way over cresting the hill. I just haven't gotten optimal.
You got to love it. Mary, you're the greatest in Oregon. A testimony, ladies and gentlemen, to maintain the discipline until the healing chickens come home to roost. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanking you so very much for tuning in and turning on. The fact of the matter is that the world in which we live is populated by people who don't have your best interests at heart, people who are centered on themselves, and also juxtaposed against people like us who are centered upon other people. Evil brings to the world poverty, pain, and suffering. Longevity brings to the world prosperity and an end to pain and suffering. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Now, how are we going to do this? We're going to do this in the context of a network marketing business because we're building a grassroots coalition because we can't fight evil. Head to head, we can't do it. We don't have enough money to fight the pharmaceutical industry. Can't do it. That's a fool's errand. Wallach's already, sued the Food and Drug Administration how many times? What good did that do? Not a whole lot. Did a little bit of good. Not a whole lot, though. Not as much as you would think. Why? Because we're up against evil. And I am choosing my words carefully. So what we're doing is generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. We're not going to fight anymore. We're just going to create so much light. We're going to create so much goodness in the world. We're going to create so much financial success, and we're going to end so much pain and suffering that the evil forces in the world will just slink away to a corner, wither up and die. Or the people that, still believe in them will just, go the way of the dingo and the dinosaur. Well, I guess the dingo's still alive. The dodo and the dinosaur, right? I mean, it must have been frustrating for Noah building that ark, having everybody laugh at him, until, of course, it started raining. And then who had the last laugh? You don't need to be worried that people are going to think you're crazy. You don't need to be worried that people think that you're just in it for the money. You don't need to be worried that people are going to say, oh, you're crazy. Oh, yeah, those vitamins don't work. They just give you expensive urine, because you're going to be the last man, the last woman standing. Your family's going to be healthy. Everybody else is going to be gorked out on prescription meds. Everybody else is going to be dying. Everybody else is going to be suffering. Everybody else is going to be in pain. Everybody else is going to be struggling with their finances. Meanwhile, life is going to be pretty good for you and for everybody inside of your sphere of influence. So what are we doing? We're generating a grassroots coalition of the informed. How are we doing that? By forwarding, building, one step at a time, one brick at a time, our individual longevity businesses. And how are we going to learn how to do that? We're going to get instruction. We're going to learn from people that have done it successfully. We're going to lean on the family of longevity, lean on the upline for teaching, education, and support, because as God is my witness, there is a way to show our message to people to make them run away from you. And you will quickly find yourself in the NFL club. No friends left. There is a way to show our message to people, to oversell it, to talk about it inappropriately, to just be a knucklehead about it and chase people away. There's also a way to show this to people, to attract them to you like moths to a flame, like bees to honey, like, a dog to the scent. There is a way to build your longevity business successfully, efficiently, and effectively. Now, what are you going to do? You can try to figure that out on your own. You can try to figure it out. You can, do a little trial and error methodology. You can try this way for 4 weeks and this way for 4 weeks and this way for 4 weeks, and then 5 years from now you might have it dialed in. Well, that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is lean on the people in longevity that have done it efficiently and correctly. Learn from their mistakes, learn from their successes, and let them help you learn how to build and sustain your longevity business efficiently, effectively, and quickly. And in the next segment, after this break, we have one of the fastest rising stars in longevity, Ashley James. Ashley James is going to be talking to us tonight about the webinar that she's going to be giving tonight, part 2 of her longevity business building series. Going to be talking to you, telling us about what they're up to, what she and her husband Duffy are up to, by way of education, by way of helping people to learn the simple system of longevity so that we can fight the forces of evil. You think that's too grandiose? How about just eliminating poverty, pain, and suffering? You up for that? I certainly am. Stick around, call your friends, tell everybody, tell your enemies. Ashley James coming up next. The top rank in longevity is Senior Vice Chairman Marketing Director. That's as high as you can go. That is the gold ring. It is the big kahuna. Our next guest, Ashley James, and her husband Duffy secured that rank in record time, not by enrolling other network marketing companies, not by bringing a pre-existing organization into the fold, but the old-fashioned way, one person at a time. Let's hear how she did it. Welcome aboard, Ash. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you so much, Dr. Glidden. It is a pleasure to speak with you today. I've been thinking so much lately. Duffy and I have been having regular meetings, sitting down and planning out this training program that we are rolling out as part of your insider membership. So if anyone wants access, not only are we providing this training, these ongoing webinar trainings to our team, Team Glidden, but also to anyone who wants it, because really it's the mission before commission is our motto, and I want all of longevity. I want every longevity member to be incredibly successful. I want you to have the experience of bringing health back to your family. Family's probably the hardest people to get on board, but I've had the privilege of having some of my family members join, even after several months of hearing us just rave about how great longevity is. And even recently, we've had more family members join and get on the products and love how they feel. And that is the most rewarding thing in the world. There's no money can't buy more time with family, and money can't really buy someone true quality of life and health. And that's something that we have to, that's why we have to keep building our longevity business and keep sharing, because we're saving families. Today is actually the 5th anniversary of my dad's death, and my dad would not have died if I found you and Dr. Wallach soon enough. So I have chosen this as a personal mission, because I know by what I do, I get to help daughters introduce this to their fathers and give them years and years more of quality life and time with their family. So it is such a huge mission to be on. And I know a lot of people, when they join longevity, they feel alone, even though they've got maybe a great upline or, maybe a great sideline. Maybe they've plugged into Facebook and all the longevity communities there, but maybe they feel alone. And I know that there was times I felt alone, not really knowing what to do. And one of the things that had Duffy and I be successful is we chose to be students of this industry. It's an odd thing to do, but once you jump in and you begin to study, you realize that when you're building your business, the more personal growth you do, the more successful you become, because you are the only limiting factor. Right now we have the highest quality supplements. We have the most amazing product. Really, it sells itself. You don't need to be good at sales to do this, but you do have to have the right mindset. And of course, with practice, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. With practice, you are going to be phenomenal at this business. But I want to impart on you everything we've learned in the last just over 2 years that we've been doing longevity. And really, when we started, we fell in love with the products. They saved my life. And because of that, we've just been gung-ho ever since, 100% believers, and we've seen amazing miracles take place in people's lives, not only with health, but also financially. There are people now that can spend more time with their family, and again, that's the goal, to give quality of life. And, what would it be worth it to you if you spent 1 hour a day on your longevity business, just 1 hour a day, to invest your time, and that 2 years later, you could have doubled or tripled your income and be able to spend all your time with your family? Wouldn't that be worth it to you? I know it was definitely worth it to us. Lately, I had this metaphor in my mind about an orchard, because when you're in the beginning of your business, we have to keep that beginner mind. When you're in the beginning, it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could ever even sign up one person. Like, that's the beginner mentality. They just don't know what they don't know, and they know that they don't know it. They know they don't know a lot, and so it's overwhelming. But imagine if you had this orchard and you just purchased this land and all you had were seeds. And you know that if you go out there and you plant one seed at a time, not every seed's going to sprout, but if you keep every day, an hour a day, planting those seeds, those trees will grow, and you'll watch them grow, but there won't be fruit on them yet. But you'll watch them grow, the ones that do, and that'll give you hope to keep planting more and more seeds. And then you'll see a year later, 2 years later, that these trees have grown, and they'll bear beautiful fruit, just bountiful whole harvests for years and years and years to come. And all you have to do is believe in yourself and believe that, to take the time and the energy to plant those seeds, and know that in a few years, if you keep plugging in, you're going to receive beautiful fruit trees for years to come. There are people that we signed up almost 2 years ago who are now blossoming in this business. If everyone plugs in, they're going to eventually kick it into drive and really start seeing results. Some people see results right away, and some people choose to be a student. And I thought of today about Abraham Lincoln, how he said, if I had 8 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend 6 of them sharpening my axe. I think that also is really important, because Duffy and I plugged into learning as much as we could and developing ourselves so that we could become better and better at this. The webinars we are doing, it's like we're going to help you sharpen your axe and get better and better. And of course, the way to do that is to practice. But we're going to give you all the tools that we have, and we're going to help you sharpen your axe and get better and better. And of course, the way to do that is to practice. But we're going to give you all the tools that we have, and we're going to help you sharpen your axe and get better and better. And of course, the way to do that is to practice. But we're going to give you all the tools that we have, so that you can go out there and grow. And we had a great successful part one of the webinar series. And today we're going to be we're continuing with the idea of mindset, and then we're going to continue on with knowing what are your plans for the next 6 months, and mapping out the next 6 months of your longevity business and helping you set the goals so that in 6 months from now, if you're a complete beginner, let's have you be, earning your car bonus, full-on SCMD, helping 5 or 10 or 20 other people build a business. Whatever your goals, we're going to help you map it out and know where to go, because you have to know where you're going in order to start working towards it. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and I invite everyone to log in and join. They can go to your website and click on Be an Insider and come to tonight's webinar. If you can't make it tonight, it'll be in the archives in the business building section for those who are insiders. And Duffy and I are really looking forward to continuing to do this. And our goal is that everyone that joins, they plug themselves in, and then over the course of the next few months, they're going to see great success, and they're going to see their fruit trees come to bear great fruit.
Well, it's a good metaphor, Ashley. It's a good metaphor, the metaphor of the orchard and the person with the seeds. But quite frankly, you can have 20 acres and a truckload of seeds, but unless you know how to plant the seeds, you're going to be out of luck. I mean, if you plant the seeds incorrectly, the birds are going to come and get them. Or, the ground's going to be too wet and they're going to get moldy and they're not going to grow. If you plant them too deeply, they're not going to grow. If you plant them just on the surface, they're not going to grow either, because the animals are going to get them. There's a way that you have to plant the seeds, and there's a way that you have to tend the sproutlings once they start to sprout, and there's a way that you have to do it. And there's a way that you can do it efficiently and effectively, and there's a way that you can do it frustratingly. And what I love about you and Duffy is the fact that you're very pragmatic in your instruction, because we're not talking about out there concepts that only the most intellectually astute people in the world can understand. It's not anything theoretical. It's all extremely practical. Look, this is what we've done. This is what works. Here's how you do it. Here's how deep in the ground you plant the seed. Here's how often you water it. Here's exactly what you do. Cookie cutter. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Repeat. I mean, for goodness sake, folks, even the shampoo bottle that you use every day has instructions on it, right? I mean, you turn it around, look on the back, it says lather, rinse, repeat. Well, anybody can do that. Lather, rinse, repeat. Let me say, okay, I can do that. And you do that, and guess what? It works. Well, it's the same way with any type of a business. There's a way that you can make a McDonald's business be successful. There's a way that you can drive a McDonald's business into the ground and make it go bankrupt. There's a way that you can make any business work, and there's a way that you can make any business fail. The problem with network marketing is very few people treat their network marketing business as a business. They just kind of throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. They're unprofessional about it, and then they wonder why it fails. And also, very few people pursue their network marketing business even part-time. Most people do it sometime, not part-time. I'd love to find 10 people just willing to do it part-time, 20 hours a week. What's that? 2 hours a day? If it's 7 days, it's like 1.5 hours a day, 1.25 hours a day. You don't need to spend a lot of time, but you do need to spend time. And there's a way to spend your time efficiently, because after all, it is network marketing. And there's a way to spend your time inefficiently. And the great thing about Ashley and Duffy is they figured out how to do it. And how do we know they figured out how to do it? With results. They occupy the top rung in the company. They made it. They've got they've got the credentials. They've got the experience. They also did it in record time. How long did it take, by the way? How many years did it take for you guys to reach the top rank?
Well, I'd like to think about the first 6 months. We were sort of learning how to do it, like we were sharpening our axe, and then we really kicked it into gear. We've been with Longevity just over 2 years now, and it was really in, I think, about 18 months that we took it seriously and really ran with it. But we've been a student of everything you've taught and Dr. Wallach and everything about longevity from the beginning. Because there is a phase where you have to absorb this information, but you want to put into practice as soon as possible, and that's what we're going to discuss in the webinars, is when to sit back and learn and when to actually go out there and practice. I want to prepare people so that they don't make all the mistakes I made. We did a lot of things wrong. We would give CDs away and not get anyone's contact information. We would, mail a webinar, not follow up. We did all the things wrong along the way, and we learned very quickly what not to do and what to do to achieve great success. And that you don't have to be a salesperson to be good at this. You just have to have a really big heart and be focused on helping others and have a long-term vision. And if that's something that you have and you really want to create, invest your time into, it is actually an investment because it's something that's going to pay you year after year after year. So this isn't time for money. This is you're investing your time, and you're going to reap hundreds times more from your investment by building this business. But
8 o'clock tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for Longevity, Dr. Glidden Insiders Only. For Dr. Glidden Insiders Only, 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. Check it out. FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the Become an Insider button. If you're already an insider, see you there 8 o'clock tonight. Ash, you and Duffy, you're the greatest. Keep up the good fight. Your world depends on it. Stick around, folks. Well, what have we learned today? The end of the week, almost the end of the year, coming up quickly on the end of 2013. I'll tell you what I learned. Too many people are suffering needlessly. Too many people are bankrupt. Too many people can't sleep at night because they don't know if they're going to lose their house. They don't know, how they're going to afford the next car payment. I mean, and forget about Christmas. I mean, you want to have a bad Christmas? Don't have any money. You know what that feels like? You got kids. You can't buy them any presents. Well, what are you going to do? You feel like a heel. That's no good. I mean, you can argue that you shouldn't be worried about, the commercialization of Christmas, but give me a break. There's no way to get around it, for goodness sake. Here's a better way to deal with it. Make more money. There's a better way to deal with the stress of life. Build a fortune. Not just an income. A fortune. What's wrong with that? How about that? Think about those words. Can you grok those words? Can you even say those words out loud and not feel funny about it? I'm working full-time on my job and part-time on my fortune. Would you like to hear my story? That's how Jim Rohn, one of the most successful network marketers ever, did it. That was his pitch. Hi, I'm working full-time at my job and part-time on my fortune. Would you like to hear my story? Now, if a total stranger came up to you and said that, just said it honestly, no BS, wouldn't that pique your curiosity? Yes, it would, because there's a part of you that wants to be wealthy. And I'm not just talking, have some enough money to make the next car payment. I'm talking about owning your car. I'm talking about owning your house. I'm talking about having another house for vacation. I'm talking about creating a fortune for yourself and your family, which is endowable and inheritable. I'm talking about breaking the mold. Want to break the mold? Want to fight evil into the bargain? Well, join Longevity, because that's what we do every day. You want to join Team Glidden? That's the smartest move you will ever make in your adult life. Please visit FireYourMDNow.com. And follow the links. Join Longevity through my website. You join Longevity through my website, you're on my team automatically. You're in my downline automatically. My downline is growing rapidly. Why? Because we've got it dialed in. We've got the health stuff dialed in, and we've got the simple system education dialed right in. And we've got awesome support. Awesome support. This is a mission for me. This is a mission for most people that are on Team Glidden. This is why we say mission before commission. Mission before commission. We pay it forward all of the time. What do? We end poverty, pain, and suffering. How about that? Put that on your business card. I eliminate poverty, pain, and suffering, Inc. It's the name of my business. Poverty, Pain, Suffering, Elimination, Inc. How about that? You want to be a member of a worldwide organization of like-minded individuals who are all following that mantra? Well, today's your lucky day. Join Longevity, and let's build fortunes together. How are we going to do it? By eliminating poverty, pain, and suffering. Eliminate poverty, pain, and suffering by showing people the wisdom of the network marketing business model and the unseen, taking them for a tour through the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. This is what we do every day of the week. It's called network marketing for a reason. You have to work. Work part-time, I'll change your life. Work full-time, I'll change your destiny. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thanks so much for finding time out of your busy lives to spend with me. Thank you so much for becoming a student of the light. Thank you so much for taking a stand for the health and the wealth of people in your communities. Thank you so much for standing up strong and tall in the face of overarching ignorance. You are the difference that you've been waiting to see. You are the change that you've been waiting for. I just stole that from Obama, and I don't care. We're moving forward at a rapid rate. Join us today, and let's make a big splash moving forward. God willing, back in the saddle tomorrow, Monday, and webinar tonight for insiders only. Dr. Glidden, over and out.